Welcome guys, Larnick96 here, and I'm going to bring you guys another toy review. Now I thought I'd start to get in on my collection update, and since one of my friends kind of asked if I could do this guy first, I decided to do this guy first. And I had a few things to say about him. So here he is. Hydra, or Hydra, from the original Ultraman. Now I'll first get off on this guy's card. Here it is. It's an old vintage card. I'll show this off later, too, because I've got some things to talk about with the figure that have something to do with this. So yeah, there's a picture of the suit. Apparently 60 meters. I don't know if that's true. So yeah, pretty nice card. A lot better condition than my Skydon one. So now I'll get off on his history. Since he only appeared once, and that was in the original Ultraman, so this should be very quick. So he appeared in one episode. It was called Terror on Route 87. That's what the English version said on the DVD. And he was this monster that was created by a child. The security guard at the zoo saw the mountain turn green, and eventually he popped out. But before, I don't remember which, the Science Patrol found out that the kid entered him into a contest for a monster, and this guy was chosen. And he was there was a statue made at the zoo. But eventually the kid was killed on Route 87 by a hit and run. So he came out of the mountain and started terrorizing the cars on Route 87. Yeah, kind of a weird plot, but I thought it was pretty interesting, considering all the alien invaders and random monster appearing. So it's always cool to have a different story. But anyway, so after Hydra was throwing around cars and destroying everything, eventually the Science Patrol came in and was trying to fight him off. And two characters, Hirashi and Hayata, crashed, and Hayata, who turns into Ultraman, got injured, and Hirashi ended up trying to continue to fight the monster. The one way he did is he drove an oil tanker right near Hydra, and he picked it up, and then the Science Patrol shot at the ship. Well, not the ship, the tanker that he was holding. And it ended up making him bleed. And then eventually Hirashi turned at Ultraman and fought Hydra, and after a very kind of weird fight, because all Hydra was doing was pushing at him, like constantly, and trying to peck his face and flap his wings, but Hydra flew away as soon as Ultraman was going to shoot his Specium Ray. And then as soon as when Ultraman was going to shoot his Specium Ray again, the girl member, I keep forgetting her name, Fuji, she sees the kid on the back of his, when he's flying like this, he sees the kid right there. So she kind of says to Ultraman not to kill him. So he lets him go, and then he just flies away and never be seen again. And I believe that's his whole history. Which is kind of sad, disappointing. Because I personally really like the concept of this monster and just how he looks. But anyway, I'll get onto the figure. Now, there's some bad aspects about this figure, which I'll get to. But I'm willing to overlook it personally, but here, I'll just get to it. First off, on detail, this guy isn't amazing to say, but he is rather nice. Like, the scales are not, great. They look decent. They look like snake or serpent scales, but the best part, in my opinion, are the wings, because of how rough textured that this part is. In the back. And the inside is the same. It just looks really rough and, it just looks really nice. And then the head has some good texture, too. Kind of looks like a turkey head. Yeah, it's got all the indents on the head and face. And it looks pretty nice. It's not the best, but it looks nice. Now on to some of the downfalls of this figure. First off, the paint job. Yeah, the paint job is really off. If you look at the card again, you can see he's a brownish color. And he's got some hints of red in there. Some on the wings, but it's very minor and it, like, real off. And there's some blood, if you can see that. That the tanker did. And then if you look at the figure, it's all blue and red. So, I don't know what Bandai was doing, but you can kind of see the old vintage things they do with some of their figures. So to a normal kaiju collector, they're going to think that's really ugly and really bad. It's like, oh, it's terrible, but I think it kind of looks cool on him. Kind of makes him look more like a bird, like a turkey-ish, as I was saying. But I can see where some people will hate it, because it's very off. I mean, that he never had blue in his appearance, and he only had very small hints of red. And he's got no pupil, which is really weird, because you can tell, obviously, on the card, he's got a pupil, but here they just make him look like an undead bird, which is kind of what he is. But, anyway. So, yeah, he's got a little yellow on the beak and stuff, and then rest of it's red and blue. So, yeah, paint job isn't the greatest. And onto articulation, that's kind of bad too. Only the arms can move and they're limited by the wing. Yeah, they're pretty limited. There's a glue seal on the waist, as you can see the massive seam across his body, but there's a glue seal, and this guy's very soft. Like, he's very squishy. He's a very soft vinyl. And then these may look like they rotate and they kind of move, but if you look right here, you can't really see it too well. It looks like they stuck it in, like there's a flab right here, and then you stick it into the body. So I don't think those can move at all. But the cool thing about the hands is how they're set up is how they make the arms bent. Is he kind of looks like he has a grabbing pose, so you can make him like push around like he was doing in the episode, which is kind of cool. So, yeah, articulation's pretty limited, but I mean, at least he's not a Bandai Creation Hydra who can't move at all. So, articulation's okay. It's bad, but decent. And on to scaling. Since he only fought one opponent, here he is, Ultraman. Now, I don't believe this is too accurate. I think Hydra should be about this big. Maybe that. But I'm not too sure, because what I remember, a lot of times Ultraman would be on the ground and Hydra would be like that, pummeling at him, or he'd be grabbing his beak and he'd be being, like, pushed to death by Hydra. So, I don't know if this is too accurate. Again, I think Hydra should be a little bit bigger. Now let me pull out another one-time monster I just got. Skydon. I think this is Skydon now. I think Skydon should be that big. But that kind of looks cool. Two original Ultraman monsters fighting. And let's pull out another fellow bird. Rodan. This looks really weird, because Rodan just looks so much more detailed and accurate, and Hydra just looks very old and vintagey. But it kind of looks cool. See, if you want to have two completely different monsters team up or fight, you can do that. And for the final notion is Rarity. This guy is pretty rare. I mean, I've only seen him the once that I've got him. And at that, he was even $30, which is pretty asking for it. but I was willing to pay it because of how much I love this creature. Yeah, so this guy can be pretty dang rare. I mean, as I said, I've only seen him once, so I don't know how easy he is to find. I don't think he's easy at all. Same with, Skydon here. Okay, so overall, he has... His history is very brief. I kind of wish he had more appearances, but I don't know if he appeared in, like, any Ultraman anime or anything like that. Detail is nice in spots, decent in others. I mean, they could have done a little bit better. But this is old Bandai, so... Yeah, that's another thing. This guy, I don't think has ever been reissued. There is, like, this statue, like, X Plus looking guy. But that guy goes for $100, so... I wouldn't be wasting my time on that. Anyway, articulation's pretty limited. I mean, they could have at least made the head rotate or the legs, but legs would have been flawed and the head would have been kind of awkward, so I kind of see what they were going at. Paint job is way off. I don't know what they were doing, but again, it kind of gives that old vintage look on the figure. And, the scaling is iffy. I think he should be a little bit bigger, but I think it's okay. All in all, if it was me personally doing it, I'd give him a 3. But if it's a normal reviewer or a normal guy collecting it, he'll give it it'll be a 2. So I personally recommend this guy for fans of the original Ultraman or who just really like this kaiju like me. Otherwise, mainly his purpose is A, for a bird-like monster, because there's not that many like that, and B, because he's very rare. So, yeah, again, he gets, in my opinion, I think he'd be 3, but in others it'd be 2, so I recommend him for hardcore fans of Ultraman. I don't think Godzilla fans would like him that much, because they already have Rodan, so I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Don't get me wrong, I really like this guy, but yeah, he has his downs and ups. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and I'll catch you guys later where I get to my other reviews. Alright, see you guys later.